Welcome. In this session, we will explore the critical intersection of identity provisioning and AWS storage options within the Cloudera Data Platform. We will break down how CDP leverages specific AWS storage services and how we secure access to them. Let's begin with the architectural landscape. First, a core principle of CDP on cloud is the separation of compute and storage, allowing you to scale processing power dynamically without migrating your data. Second, we rely on Amazon S3 as the backbone for persistence. This is where your data lake tables, audit logs, and backups reside permanently. Third, for the actual virtual machines running your workloads, we provision AWS EBS volumes to handle the operating system and immediate processing needs. Finally, for specialized workloads like Cloudera AI that require shared project files across sessions, CDP provisions EFS to ensure data consistency across nodes. This diagram visualizes the storage hierarchy. At the top, the CDP environment orchestrates the resources. It connects directly to S3 for long-term persistence. Simultaneously, it provisions EC2 instances for compute. Notice how the EC2 instances are tightly coupled with EBS for their local block storage needs, while optionally connecting to EFS for shared file systems in specific machine learning workflows. Now let's look at how we provision the data lake storage. When you register an environment, you are required to define a storage location base. This is the S3 bucket path where your Hive and Impala tables will live. You must also provision distinct paths for logs location base, for system telemetry, and backup location base, for free IPA backups. Critically, these aren't just open buckets. Specific IAM roles or managed identities must be mapped to these containers to grant the CDP control plane permission to write logs and backups. To streamline this, Cloudera provides CloudFormation templates that automate the creation of these buckets with the necessary security policies attached. This flow illustrates the input required during provisioning. You start with the registration JSON or wizard. You must define 3 distinct S3 targets: storage, logs, and backups. The dotted lines indicate that these buckets are not public. They are strictly guarded by pre-provisioned IAM roles that permit access only to the specific Cloudera services that require it. Moving to the compute layer, let's discuss Elastic Block Store. When provisioning a cluster, you can specify the root volume size, often starting at 500 GB for production nodes, to ensure adequate space for OS operations. For workloads requiring high I/O, such as operational databases, you should provision instances with ephemeral NVMe storage for caching, rather than standard EBS. It is also vital to apply tags during provisioning to identify the instance roles, such as gateway or master nodes. Finally, your IAM policies must explicitly allow actions like EC2, create volume, and EC2, delete volume, so the environment can dynamically provision and clean up storage as the cluster auto-scales. This diagram maps the relationship between the EC2 instance structure and the IAM policy. The instance contains the root EBS volume and optional ephemeral NVMe cache. The IAM policy on the right acts as the governance layer, explicitly permitting the creation and deletion of these volumes based on specific tags, ensuring that storage is only provisioned for authorized cluster activities. How do users access this storage securely? The answer is the ID broker. ID broker allows your users to access S3 data without ever needing to handle permanent AWS access keys. It works by mapping your Cloudera user groups to specific AWS IAM roles, such as a data engineering role or a data science role. You configure these mappings using the CDP CLI command set ID broker mappings. When a user runs a job, ID broker exchanges their credentials for a temporary AWS SDS token, granting them ephemeral access to the S3 bucket defined in that role's policy. Follow the sequence of a storage request. The user requests access based on their group, for example, data engineering. The ID broker intercepts this and requests to assume role from AWS SDS on the user's behalf. AWS returns a temporary token. ID broker passes this token to the user's job, allowing it to directly access the S3 bucket securely. This eliminates the risk of long-term keys being leaked. For enterprise security, simple bucket-level access isn't enough. We use RAZ or Ranger authorization for S3. To enable this, you provision a dedicated IAM role, often called the RAZ role, which has broad permissions to the S3 bucket. Instead of AWS IAM controlling every file access, RAZ intercepts the S3 calls. It checks the request against your detailed Ranger policies first. This architecture allows you to enforce granular, directory-level, or even file-level permissions within a single S3 bucket, something standard IAM roles cannot easily achieve. Here's the RAZ decision flow. The user job initiates a storage request. Instead of going straight to AWS, it hits the Ranger RAZ interceptor. This component checks the fine-grained policies. If authorized, it assumes the high-privilege RAZ IAM role to perform the action on S3. If not, access is denied immediately. This centralizes complex security logic within CDP rather than scattering it across AWS policies. Security also means encryption. CDP fully supports customer-managed keys via AWS KMS to encrypt both your EBS volumes and S3 buckets. When setting this up, your IAM policies must explicitly grant the auto-scaling service roles permission to perform KMS, generate data key and KMS, decrypt, or the instances will fail to launch. You define which key to use during the environment registration process by passing the encryption keyarn parameter in the CLI. This ensures that from the moment a bit of data touches a disk or an object store, it is encrypted using a key that you manage and control. This visual demonstrates the trust chain for encryption. It starts with your customer-managed key. This key is loaded into AWS KMS. KMS then grants usage rights to the auto-scaling role used by CDP. This role then utilizes the key to transparently encrypt both the EBS volumes attached to your compute nodes and the data residing in your S3 buckets. Finally, let's address lifecycle management. Logs accumulate quickly. To manage storage costs, you should implement S3 lifecycle rules, particularly for your logs location base. You can define a JSON policy that automatically expires logs after a set period, such as 7 days, and aborts incomplete multi-part uploads to keep the bucket clean. These rules are applied directly to the bucket using the AWS CLI command put bucket lifecycle configuration. This simple step prevents your storage bill from growing indefinitely due to transient telemetry data. The lifecycle state diagram shows the path of a log file. From the moment the log is created, it enters active storage. It remains there for the duration you define, for example, 7 days. On day 7, the lifecycle rule triggers, moving the object to expired status and subsequently deleting it, ensuring your storage footprint remains optimized.
Welcome to quicktechie.com. So just type in quicktechie.com here. Then you can go through the material which is provided by Quicktechie. So we have first of all video courses which you can go here and you can find the various video courses across the technologies as well as finance domain. So if you see in Microsoft, we have 8 programs currently running. Next, you can go through the ebooks available. So all the ebooks which are in PDF format today, and you can download this. So let me go through Microsoft certification ebooks. You can click on any of this and you can see this is the PDF available for you to download. So these are the premium ebook mostly available on quicktechie.com platform only. Now the second part is exam simulator. As we primarily focus on the all technology companies and finance domain certification preparation material, so this is company wide listed here and you can go through this. So let me go through the Microsoft one again. You can see these are all Microsoft related certification. AB 730 exam, if you open it, so you can see here this, and all the practice papers are available here. Today we have a 5 practice paper. So click on the first practice paper. It would load the questions. You can answer this question. This is way you can answer it and you can move to the next question. Now third material we wanted to highlight is an audiobook. So we started recently with the audiobooks as well, which you can listen on the go, and various technology wise ebooks are available. And at the last, this is our alumni. These people who are subscribing to our courses and this platform, they are all listed here. And at the end, I wanted to tell you, if you find any course or training or certification preparation material which you want to get us prepared for yourself, please put on the comment section. If you're watching on YouTube, on Udemy, or on this platform itself, quicktechie.com, then please put the comment, or you can even send an email to using this contact us options here. You can directly do the WhatsApp message. You can call us on this numbers as well.